This fish's meat is poisonous. It has been known to cause death, brain injuries, and many more health-related issues. Today, we're going to be eating it. This is a video of us catching it. Now, this is us cleaning it. Great Barracuda is a notorious predator on many reefs. Its torpedo-shaped body allows it to be a quick predator under the water, and fang-like teeth, just like a vampire, to grab, and shredder teeth, two sets of teeth to cut right through bone and flesh of many animals. We're about to prepare this poisonous barracuda to eat. I mean, possibly poisonous. Anyways, all we're gonna do is we're gonna put some olive oil on it, and then we're gonna put some Italian herb seasoning on it. We're gonna put some lemon on it, and we're gonna throw it on the grill and see how it comes out and see what happens to us. Fish is on the grill, and we got steaks too, baby. We're doing surf and turf. Look at this. We got barracuda, and we got prime rib. All we did was stick it on here. We're gonna turn it over in a little bit, and we're gonna eat it. All right, we got the barracuda cooked. It looks good. Now we're gonna try. Let's try it, guys. Very good. How is it?
Good texture. It's good texture. I think it's not poisoned, not dead. I'm alive.
Fine.
Right here.
How about you, Maria? How do you feel about the barracuda? Take a bite. Up, eat your steak first. She's nervous. It's poisoned.
It tastes really good, and it's very consistent. I like it doesn't taste fishy, which I like.
Anyways, now we're gonna wait 24 hours and see what happens to us. It has now been 1 week since we've eaten the poisonous barracuda meat, and I know I mentioned 24 hours at first, but I was thinking if something's gonna happen, it's gonna be a few days. However, nothing happened. I spoke with everybody right before filming this, and we're all completely fine. I do want to talk really quickly, and this is important to listen to, why we ate this and how you should be careful eating barracuda going forward. Now, barracudas are found all over the world in pretty much all major bodies of water that are more or less warm, from the Mediterranean to the Indo-Pacific to obviously the Gulf of Mexico where I'm at, and the Caribbean, the Atlantic. They have a really wide range of where they live, and there's many different types as well. Now, the one we have out back where I'm at, it's called the Great Barracuda. It gets bigger than all the other barracudas. That's why it's called the Great Barracuda. They get to, I have to say, I mean, I don't know what the world record is off the top of my head, but at least over 100 pounds. I've seen them at 80 pounds. So if I've seen them at 80 pounds, I'm sure there's some out there that are over 100 pounds. Anyways, they can get really big, and they're a really aggressive fish. You know, they eat a lot, but a lot of people give them the name of having poisonous meat because of a toxin called ciguatera. Now, I want to talk about ciguatera real quick. It's a toxin that accumulates in fish's bodies as they grow, and the fish that are affected by this are typically fish that are feeding off of coral reefs, like grouper, snapper, barracuda, jacks, and other reef fish. So it's not just the barracuda that has ciguatera, it can be any of the larger reef fish you're gonna have to be careful with. Now, in some areas that you go, like in some of the islands like St. Thomas, and other items in that area in the Caribbean zone. You got to be careful with which reef fish you eat. A lot of times guys will ask locals what fish is good to eat, what fish is not safe to eat off the reefs, and that's just something to note. Now, ciguatera develops in warmer waters where there's coral reefs, as I had previously mentioned, and doesn't just affect the Barracuda. It's just the one to have the baddest rep out of all of them. It's just known to be the worst. Now, obviously, because the way this toxin accumulates is them eating other fish that have this toxin, which basically eat other microorganisms that grow off the coral, which is where the toxin develops, and that goes into the little fish. And then of course, you know, that effect is multiplied in a bigger fish that eats so many of those little fish, and it accumulates mass, and the toxin is more prevalent in that fish. Now, it is something to be really careful about. It can cause death, it can cause permanent brain injuries, it can cause damage to other organs, and if you just have diarrhea and vomiting, you're honestly very lucky that that's the case if you do have ciguatera poisoning. Now, for us, why do we eat this fish? I'm on the Gulf Coast of Florida, out of St. Pete. We ran about 20 miles offshore in about 75 foot of water. I flatlined out a sardine, boom, it got hit, got smashed, it made a couple nice jumps, landed in the boat, and we decided to keep it, not because the day was slow, but mainly just to educate you guys on this thing about the Barracuda. And you know, we kept it for the video, and we knew it was going to be safe to eat because in our region, this toxin doesn't really develop. It doesn't develop in a lot of regions. Example, the Mediterranean, obviously they have a different Barracuda, but I've asked people in that region, they've been like, ciguatera, what's that? Like, they're totally confused. Anyways, in my region, St. Pete, even a little further south, like Sarasota, Fort Myers, and on the other side of the coast as well, like, you know, Pompano Beach, Jacksonville, that whole area, even down south, like towards, obviously, like towards Miami area, they're generally safe to eat, especially if you don't catch them off a coral reef. But once you start talking to Keys, the Bahamas, you know, that whole Caribbean area where there's coral reefs, you got to be careful. I believe along with Australia as well, but if you are an Australian viewer, let me know if you guys Barracudas are known to have ciguatera in them as well. Leave a comment and I'll pin it if you do so. But anyways, with that being said, is that in those areas with the coral reefs, they do have it. So if you do catch one and you do want to keep it, just keep a smaller one if you're going to do that. I personally, if you're in one of those zones that you know it's risky, I wouldn't keep any of those Barracuda, especially the bigger ones. Just throw them all back, you know, or use them as bait. They're fun to catch, and there's plenty of other good fish to catch on the reef as well. So it's not like you just have to be fixated on catching a Barracuda. And of course, if you're worried that a fish might have some other sort of poison, or not just ciguatera, but you know, some other sort of toxin or something, always throw it back. It's better to be safe than sorry. And with that being said, if you haven't subscribed already, be sure to subscribe. I honestly don't know what you're doing watching this video if you haven't subscribed yet. And be sure to hit the like button on this video. It helps me out with getting this YouTube video to more people. So with that being said, thanks for watching and signing off.